All right, today we're tackling something that is absolutely crucial if you're looking at one of Africa's most dynamic markets. We are talking about how to secure your real estate investment in Nigeria. We're going to take all that complexity and turn it into a clear, simple roadmap for you.
So maybe you're thinking about jumping into Nigerian property. Or hey, maybe you're already in. It's a market with just incredible potential, right? But, and this is a big but, it's got its own playbook. And the real question you've got to ask yourself is my investment actually safe?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down for you. We're going to give you the roadmap you need to navigate the whole system, lock down your ownership, and make sure your money is protected. So let's get right into it. Okay, first things first. We need to be crystal clear about how high the stakes are here. When we talk about property titling in Nigeria, this isn't just, boring paperwork. No way. This is about protecting your investment from a complete wipeout. It is absolutely non-negotiable.
And I'm not exaggerating. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist or a small fine. Get this wrong, and you could lose every single penny you put in. Seriously, your entire transaction could be thrown out, you could get stuck in legal battles that drag on for years, or worse, you end up with a piece of land that you can't sell, can't get a loan for, can't even build on. It becomes a worthless asset.
So you might be asking, why is it so complicated? Well, it's because you're not just dealing with one set of laws. It's this unique mix of national laws, then you've got state-level rules, and on top of that, there are these really important customary laws that have been around forever. If you don't get how these all fit together, it is super easy to step on a landmine.
Okay, so let's get into that legal framework. We're going to unpack how all these pieces fit together. Because, look, if you want to invest successfully, you absolutely have to know the basic rules of the game that apply to literally every piece of land in Nigeria. And the number one thing you need to know, the absolute bedrock of it all, is something called the Land Use Act. Here's the core idea. All land in a state is technically owned by the state governor. They hold it in trust for the people. So when you buy land, what you're really getting is a right of occupancy. Think of it like a very, very long-term lease from the government. It's not the same as the kind of absolute ownership you might see in other places.
And that leads to the most critical takeaway of this whole section. Pay attention to this. No matter who you buy from, it could be a person, a family, a big company, doesn't matter. The deal is not legally valid until you get what's called the governor's consent. That's the official stamp of approval that transfers that right of occupancy to you. If you skip this step, your purchase literally doesn't count in the eyes of the law.
All right, so to handle this properly, you got to know what kind of land you're looking at. It basically falls into three buckets. First, you've got government land. That means you're going through a formal process with the state. Second, there's customary land, which is owned by a family or a whole community. Here, you have to do some extra homework to make sure their claim to the land is real and everyone agrees. And third, you have individually owned land. For this, you have to check that the seller has a proper deed and, importantly, that they got the governor's consent when they bought it.
Okay, so that's the why, that's the legal stuff. Now let's get to the how, the practical part. We've boiled this whole complex process down to a simple 5-step roadmap. This is your path from just looking at a property to having a secure, registered title in your hands.
So here it is, your 5 steps to a secure title. It's simple, really. You start with step 1, conduct due diligence. Then step 2, prepare professional documents. Step 3 is that all-important governor's consent. Step 4, register your title. And finally, step 5, ensure ongoing compliance. Just follow these steps in this order, and you're building your investment on solid rock, not sand.
Let's break it down. Step 1, and I cannot stress this enough, is due diligence. This is your homework phase, and it is not optional. Before a single naira changes hands, you or your lawyer need to get down to the state land registry. This is where you find out if the person selling the land actually owns it. And just as important, you check for any red flags, like mortgages, lawsuits, or any government plans for that land. This is your shield.
Okay, step 2 is all about getting your documents in order. You need to hire a licensed surveyor, and they'll create what's called a survey plan. And listen, this isn't just some hand-drawn map. It's a highly technical document that spells out the exact, precise boundaries of your property. Think of it as the property's unique fingerprint. Getting this right is crucial for avoiding arguments with neighbors down the line, and you're going to need it for the next steps anyway.
All right, on to step 3, getting that governor's consent. For this, you basically have to build a case file. You'll need your deed of assignment, which is the official legal document that says this property is being transferred. You'll also need that survey plan we just talked about, a certificate showing you're up to date on your taxes,
And of course, receipts proving you've paid all the government fees.
Now, once you get that consent, you're almost there but not quite. You've got to take it to the finish line with step 4, actually registering your title at the land registry. This is the moment it becomes official public record. It's what protects you from anyone else trying to claim your property. And then step 5 is just about maintenance, staying on top of your annual ground rent and taxes to make sure everything stays legit and in your name.
So you've got the roadmap now. You know what to do. But it's just as important to know what not to do. So let's talk about the common mistakes, the traps that other investors have fallen into. Because honestly, learning from their mistakes is the best way to make sure you don't repeat them.
You know, when it comes to this, there are really 2 types of investors. You've got the diligent investor. This person is careful, they check everything, they hire the right people, and they follow the 5-step plan to the letter. Then you have the reckless investor. This is the person who tries to save a little time or money by skipping the search, using some guy they know instead of a professional, or just relying on a verbal promise. And believe me, the final chapter for these 2 investors, it's never the same story.
So here are your red flags, your warning bells. If a seller is pushing you, really pushing you, for a quick cash deal with no documents, just walk away. Don't even think about it. If they get cagey or make excuses when you ask to see their title documents, that's a massive red flag. And if the story of who owned the land before them is complicated or unclear, especially with family-owned land, you need to slow way down and dig much, much deeper.
I know. After hearing all that, you might be thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of hassle. And yeah, it takes effort. But let's flip this around and talk about the payoff. Because when you do this the right way, the rewards are huge. A solid registered title unlocks so much value. Think about it. Number 1, legal security. That's just priceless peace of mind. Number 2, access to bank loans. No bank is going to touch a property with a messy title. Number 3, higher property value. A clean title literally makes your property worth more. And number 4, marketability. You can sell it or rent it out so much faster when everything is clean and clear.
At the end of the day, that registered title is your badge of credibility. It's what tells everyone, banks, regulators, potential buyers, that you're serious and your investment is solid. It's what turns a piece of land from a potential headache into a powerful financial asset. And you know, one of our sources on this summed it up perfectly. They said that doing this right forms the foundation for sustainable and profitable real estate investment in Nigeria. And that's exactly it. It's not just a good idea. It is the foundation. Without it, everything else can crumble.
So look, when you take the time to understand this system and follow the steps, you're doing more than just buying a piece of property. You're building a solid, secure foundation for your future. So the real question is, once your foundation is secure, what are you going to build on it?